Welcome back to another episode of Crank It with Christian, and I know we've done a video like this before, but I wanted to go through with a new version of my kayak setup and also how I set this thing up for filming if I'm going out and filming a tournament or just filming whenever I'm on my kayak. So today we are going to be talking about my Hobie PA-12 and how I'm setting it up for tournament fishing and how I set it up for filming my YouTube videos. Okay, so starting off, we're going to be starting in the front of the kayak and working our way to the back like we did last time, and talking about all the features I have, about what I have it set up with for tournament fishing like I mentioned, and then on top of that we'll be going through with how I have my camera set up, what I have them set up on, and etc. So just more stuff like that. So anyways, starting off in the front, as you guys probably see, I've got my Yak Attack leverage landing net right here, and really all I do is I'll hook it over the front, and then I've got it in the same roto grip setup as I did previously. So I'll show you guys that roto grip setup here in a second. But yeah, that's where I have my net. It's right there, so if I'm sitting in my kayak, I can easily reach, grab it without having to lean forward too much, and I can go straight down and net the fish. So like I said, I've got my roto grips right here. This is a 2017 Hobie PA-12, but I upgraded with the 2018, 19, or 20 rails up here that have the rails in them, and they also have like the plier grips or plier sots and stuff like that. So I put roto grip there, and I also have a roto grip right over here that I have a GoPro mounted on. This GoPro is mounted on, I think it's called a Gorilla Pod. They're at Best Buy. It's just a flexible tripod for cameras, and there we go. I've got a GoPro Hero 7 right here, and I've just got the threaded bracket on the bottom of it, so that we can, well, so I can have it up here. So I'll put it around, I'll put one leg around through the roto grip, another one around it, and then one underneath, and it's facing me. This is a voice activated GoPro, so I can say GoPro start recording, and it'll start recording if I'm about to set a hook or if I'm reeling in a fish and I want to get it. So I've got those roto grips on both sides. That's how I have my front camera angle set up. And then let's look right in front of the storage compartment. So when you open it up, you got this normal crate. Everybody's got them in their Hobies. I just throw some baits in here, just mismatched baits. I've got extra identifier cards for the tournament trails. I've got some just jigs, registration, and I throw some snacks in here too. If I'm out fishing, I'll throw just some perishable foods in there. And then underneath in here, in the compartment, I've got my Noqua 10 amp hour lithium ion battery. Typically I've got this in here. I'm not sure if you guys can see or not, but I've got it up here, and I velcro it around that post so that if I'm in rough water, it sits there. It won't go farther deeper into my kayak. It'll just sit there, and I've got it all wired up so I can just quickly disconnect it and then bring it into my house and charge up that battery. Or also, the Noquas do have this quick disconnect system right here. So that is my battery setup in the front hull of my kayak, and we're going to move on back to the middle range of my kayak. Alright, so next up is my fish finder. Right here I've got the Humminbird Helix 10 Mega SI DI GPS model. I've got this with a Lake Master Plus Great Lakes card since we're in Ohio. So that's what I've got this set up here. It's connected to that Noqua 10 amp hour battery, and with that battery, this will last actually about 10 hours or so. I typically got a lead acid battery that I can also hook up if I run out of battery, if I'm on like a trip or something and I need extra power. And then I also have my new Bold North Outdoors power pack with an Amped Outdoors lithium battery inside of it that I can hook this up to also. And that'll run it for about another 10 hours like what my Noqua does. So that's fish finder. That is on a Ram 1-inch ball mount. Really, I should have something a little bit bigger, but since it's a kayak and not a boat, you're not going too fast. The 1-inch ball mount holds it on here good. And I mean, as you see, if I'm shaking this, my entire kayak shakes. So it's not coming off of there. I've had no issues with it. Next, right here in the center hatch that everybody has in the Hobies, I've got my two 3600 boxes. One of them, I've got the my chatterbait, jig, and spinnerbait box. And then my other one, as you guys can see about the names on the front, it's all my terminal tackle that I would really use in my kayak. I could have more than that in there if I really want to. And then up here in the little compartment area, I've got a multi-tool for pliers, scissors, knives, whatever I need. And then I also have this wacky rig tool right here. So it's always right there ready to go for the baits that I use the absolute most. And it works really good for me having those specific baits in there. Lastly, up here on this side of the kayak, I've got my hog trough. I slide it right in between my what is that? Yeah, that's a vertical, isn't it? No, that's a horizontal. I have it right in between my horizontal rod holder and slide it straight back against the back of the whole section right there, and it stays in place really well. It doesn't move around much at all, and it's just a great place, easy to grab, and just doesn't get in my way when I'm pedaling or netting a fish. So that's what always stays right there. As you guys see, I've got a cup holder on that side, so if I have a drink with me, I can set it right there. I either put it on the outside, inside my kayak. I don't use my horizontal rod holders in this. I had one issue before where I snapped a rod off when I had it in the horizontal rod holders, and since then I will not use it for that. If I'm out fishing and I need to net a fish real quick, or if I'm retying something, I'll throw it in there real quick, but most of the time I set it on the top of my kayak hull instead of in the hole, so I don't break an eyelet or snap another rod. Other than here, the Hobie H-Rail bin. This is my broken one I accidentally grabbed on accident, but in here I pretty much just throw any trash that I have so it doesn't go in the lakes. I'll throw some baits that I'm using that day, like pretty much the main baits I'm using. I'll throw extras in there just so they're right there ready for me to grab. And yeah, only other thing left on this front section of the Hobie is underneath my seat right here. I typically throw my crankbait box. I use a Plano 3700 deep box that I put underneath there. I strap it down and it's got all my crankbaits. It's got lipless, square bills of all different sizes, deep diving crankbaits, mid diving crankbaits, shallow diving crankbaits, jerk baits. I even got a few swim baits in there. So that's what goes underneath my seat. All right, moving on behind the seat of my kayak, I've got a Yak Attack Black Pack. I outfitted this with 8 different rod holders. Typically it comes with 3, but I carry a lot of rods with me because I hate retying. So I've got 8 rod holders on it. When you open it up, you see I've got all my different Plano boxes. So like I said, I've got my crankbait box underneath my seat. In here, I've got a topwater box, and then as you guys see at the names on the box, I've got Senko box, creature bait box, trailers box, and then a trick worm box. And that really wraps up all the baits I throw. Anything else separate, like if I want to throw, if I'm on a smallmouth fishery and I'm really going to be throwing drop shots or Ned rigs, I'll take some out of my boat tackle boxes since I've got a lot more in my boat, and I'll throw it in my front hatch so it's there ready to go, or I'll throw it in my H bin right there off my rail of my Hobie. Other than that, that's basically the gist of what I use, is all those soft plastics that I have in there. It's my most used soft plastics in there. I've got my most used crankbaits underneath my seat. I've got my terminal tackle, spinnerbaits, jigs, chatterbaits, and stuff up in front of my hull, or in front of my seat. And then any extra like line or snacks or whatnot, extra bait in my front compartment of my PA-12. And lastly, for a safety thing, always got to have a light pole. This is the Yak Attack light pole. I forget what the exact name is, but just got the twist on and off light. It looks like that was actually on. So, oh, there we go. So it was just a little bit tough to tighten down. There we go. So it's on, just twist on and off. This thing lasts forever. I had it on for an 8-hour day, and it's still, I've had it on for several 8-hour days, and I've never had to replace the battery yet. And then instead of having the Yak Attack flag on it, I decided to put the American flag on it for a little touch. And I've got that mounted with the Yak Attack Mighty mount onto the plate that covers up the steering controls for the PAs, or for any of the Hobies. Well, that wraps up how I set up my kayak for filming or even tournament fishing. As you guys saw, all my accessories I've got on my kayak to make it perfect for my fishing setup for what I do. I've got my GoPro up front on that on the Roto Grip, the Yak Attack Roto Grip. And other than that, if I'm out here, if you guys are watching my videos, you know I always have a chest mount on. I've got extra batteries that I bring with me and keep beside my seat for whenever I need them, or in my front hatch. I keep my drone in my front hatch if I got it with me. I'll occasionally keep my camera that you guys are watching this on in my front hatch, just in case me or one of my friends gets a really nice fish, then I can pull it out and then we can record that. But other than that, every once in a while I've got a YOLOtech power stick and I've got a foam pool noodle that I'll put it in and I'll stick it in a rod holder, so then I can have my GoPro, instead of on the front, I can have it up over top of me to get another angle. But I don't do that very often. Ever since I put my GoPro Hero 7 up front on that that GorillaPod mount, that it really works good, and I've had no complaints with it, and I prefer it up there. So that is my preferred fishing tournament and filming setup. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Maybe it gave you guys a few ideas to set up your pro angler or even your kayak a certain way that you guys like. And we'll be doing more kayak fishing, more boat fishing, and we'll do more informational fishing or informational videos as it gets into the colder months. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video.